Everybody, we appreciate you tuning in. This is the American Car Classics radio program. I'm Kenny, and this is Andrew, and he decided to be my sidekick for a while. I love it. So we hope you all are doing great. Bryce is behind the board as always. I think we've got a camera on him today as well. Hopefully he's got some stuff to put in. This is a very special show because on the phone with us to open up the show is... man, one of the best commentators you could ask for ever about classic cars and the auto auction industry. This is John Kraman, the voice of Mecum Auto Auctions. John, how are you today?
Hey, doing good. Always look forward to talking cars with you guys.
We always have a blast doing it. We'll probably try to keep you on for a couple segments. You jet lag, John, is it something that you noticed going east to west and north to south?
Yeah, I'd like to say that you kind of get used to it, all the traveling around. The whole Mecum crew does, including myself. But man, sometimes you got to think about what time zone you're on and where you're waking up at.
I reached out to you Monday afternoon, and I said to my mom, I said, I'll hear from him tomorrow because I'll bet he just got in and I'll bet he's wiped out. You were coming home to Wisconsin from California.
Right. Yeah, it was a long haul out there, kind of in the midst of all that weather drama they had going on out there.
Yeah.
With all the rains. But fortunately, I am back home safe and sound and kind of reflecting back on what one heck of a great year this has been so far.
John, it is flying by. I mean, we're in the middle of August. I think we're 4.5 months away from January, where we'll be talking about the Super Bowl of auto auctions. But coming off of Monterey, this is a much smaller auction than what we would ever see out of Kissimmee in the middle of winter. But how was it out there, other than the weather stuff that they were dealing with? Because I know that they're not really used to thunderstorms, yet alone hurricanes.
Yeah. Well, first of all, interesting that you bring up the car count at Monterey. Monterey is a boutique auction for us. We're out there in the midst of Monterey Car Week, which is arguably the most action-packed world car event annually that goes on. It's been going on for over 50 years out there. And Mecum, since 2009, we've been a real big part of that, having an auction. But we also know that we don't want to bring, a full complement of normal Mecum inventory to Monterey. It definitely is it's a world market, very European, very high end. So this year, more than we've ever done in the past, is we decided we were going to contain. It's a 3-day auction. We were going to hold it down to 200 cars per day. We were going to try to fill it with as many exotics as we could to suit that one particular market. Yeah. And man, it was mission accomplished. On all of our top 10 were all over $1 million. The top 6 sellers, can you believe it, were Ferraris. The Italian sports car reigned supreme for Mecum at Monterey. We're still putting the numbers together, but we're certainly well over $40 million in the sale of collector vehicles there. Top seller was a 1966 Ferrari 275 GTB long nose alloy coupe, $3.41 million. Leading the top of our sales chart. And within the next week or so, we should have all of the data. But another successful event, even though it's the smallest car count of all of our 16 Mecum auctions, check this out. It has the highest per car dollar average of any Mecum auction. Hey, John. So very strategic. We went in with a plan. We executed. And now we look forward to the future.
John, sorry to interrupt you there. When you were saying that it was the smallest turnout the least amount of cars, right? Do you think that helped drive the numbers up, pricing-wise, because there was less to bid on for the consumer?
Oh.
For those folks that have not been to Monterey, it's a special event. It attracts a certain crowd. There are no affordable hotel rooms. It's a relatively small community. You've got car shows, auctions, new vehicle reveals. You've got the racing at Laguna Seca Raceway. everything is going on all at one time, and you have to be very well heeled even to be able to participate with lodging and cost of admission to things. It all comes to peak on the final day of Monterey Car Week is Pebble Beach Concours d'Elegance, the most prestigious car show on the planet.
Yes.
Tickets, entry-level ticket, just to get into that one show, start at $500 each. So the point of all of this is Monterey's not just another car event. It's not just another car week. It's not just another celebration of the automobile. It attracts the absolute top end, the cream of the crop. So Mecum has decided to kind of set aside our normal Mecum inventory, the entry and mid-level stuff that we're so well known for, and focus in on the high end. We had more Ferraris at that auction than we typically do Camaros at another auction. We had more Porsches than we typically do Mustangs. Everything was completely flipped and flopped. And like I said earlier, it really paid off for us because we brought the inventory that we expected that the audience would resonate with, and they did.
And the amount of time you got to spend here again, I go to Kissimmee. It's my backyard car show. So 4,000 cars, they're pushing them through 28 seconds, and they want to roll the next one on the block. Jimmy and all the guys, they really got to spend some time selling these cars.
The pace is a little bit slower. Still, Mecum, our trademark is a fast and exciting and rapid pace, but not nearly the same kind of pace that we would do at a typical Mecum auction, partially because the limited amount of cars we have per day, we set it at 200. At Kissimmee, as an example, which is the world's largest collector car auction single event, we'll do 400 cars a day. So about half as many cars per day gives us a little bit more time to start dealing with these many six-figure and a lot of seven-figure cars. It's a little bit of a different show. But what's funny is we keep our ticket prices the same for all of our auctions. So it's $20 in advance at Mecum.com for any Mecum auction, for any of your listeners to come on in and check everything out, and $30 the day of the show. We don't raise our prices for Monterey. That helps bring a lot of people in through the doors and helps really drive sort of the excitement of the event. But yeah, instead of, seeing a car, it's not unusual for us to go, a minute and a half to 2 minutes. We were sometimes 4 to 5 minutes on the real high-end cars. Want to make sure that we do that consignor justice and get everything out of it that we possibly can. Very big stakes at Monterey, more than anywhere else we go.
Yeah, well, I saw Reggie Jackson out there. I saw Kareem Abdul-Jabbar and several other guys, with their cars selling. And I think Reggie bought Kareem's car, if I'm not mistaken. But it was certainly fun to watch them sell and watch the guys with their enthusiasm as they bought and sold cars there. You certainly knew that you were in California when you saw that going on.
Yeah, we had Wayne Carini from Chasing Classic Cars was there. He's a friend and a regular at our Monterey auction and some of our other auctions as well. He's typically at Kissimmee, Harrisburg, a few others annually. But it's a star-studded event. For a lot of people, it is a bucket list item to go to Monterey once in their life. And to get that checked off, go to Concours d'Elegance. It's a full week of activity. Shout out to our friends at Baja Cantina, which is a awesome Mexican restaurant in Carmel. Automotive theme, the guy that owns the place, Pat Finney, real car guy, is a racer and a collector. He's got it all decorated over the top, and there's always huge crowds there, and it's a great it's a great time. But it's a little bit different than what we're normally used to. And as much as we look forward to going out there and doing something a little bit different, I'm kind of looking forward to getting back into more of the traditional Mecum inventory, pace, and volume of cars.
Well, while we're talking about the Concours d'Elegance and the people that it brings out in Monterey, and before we got on the air, John, we talked for just a second. I'm going to change it up a little bit. I'm going to bring up Chattanooga, Tennessee, October 13th and 14th. 2 days, Mecum is coming back out for the third year in a row. This is going to be the fourth annually Chattanooga Motor Car Festival. And it is a big, big event. Wayne Carini is out there, as is Chip Foose and Ray Evernham, and usually a NASCAR guy or two, Jeff Hammond, Bill Elliott, stuff like that. It is always a great event. And John, I know that you said that you've got another event. I want you to talk to your bosses and say, I want to go to Chattanooga next year. It is going to be the 5th annual. And you as a guitar guy and a band guy, the first year there, I brought a guitar and I had everybody from Lynn St. James and Miss Hurt. I mean, everybody signed this. I had,
cool.
Everybody signed it. But I saw Byron DeFore, who is the founder of the Chattanooga Motor Car Festival in Monterey, with Dana Mecum, and I really think, and I'm gonna give this guitar to Byron DeFore next year on the 5th anniversary of this, and see if he wants to auction it off through Kissimmee or not, or through Mecum or not, or does he want to take it into possession? But it's going to be a great event this year. And their Concours d'Elegance, now they're bringing out cars. These cars, a lot of them come from overseas to Chattanooga, and it really is a great thing. And of course, in the Chattanooga backyard is Corky Coker, Coker Tires, and he's got all these fabulous brassies. Which I saw. What did I see? I want to say a Studebaker. I saw a great old car, and it brought $1 million and still went on. A Duesenberg.
Okay.
Yeah, and Corky has a couple of those as well, and they're such beautiful cars. So Chattanooga coming up October 13th, 14th. I know I'll be there as I am every year, and John, I'd hope for you to get out there next year, and Andrew, you as well. So
yeah, I'd love to go.
Yeah, it'd be great. So John, you came from before Monterey, there was Harrisburg, Pennsylvania,
right?
And that was a good auction for you all. Was there anything outstanding? Any big numbers or anything crazy?
You know, in contrast, I talked a bit about the inventory and some of the top selling cars and the sort of the personality, the top 10. Harrisburg, good old USA. We did almost 35 million in sales. Every vehicle in the top 10, all top 10. Corvettes and American Performance. Number 1, 2021 Dodge Challenger SRT Hellcat Custom with a carbon fiber exoskeleton of a 1968 Charger. That was our top seller. That brought $261,000. $250. The rest of it's filled with Shelbys and Corvettes and restomods. Looking forward to kind of getting back into that.
Yeah. Well, I think we're going to be able to look. I think we're ready to close out. Bryce is waving his finger at me. I don't think it's in a bad way. So we're going to jump out of here and take a quick break. John, if you'll hang on for a second, come back for another segment. We'd love to have you.
Thing.
All right, everybody. This is American Car Classics Radio program. Hold on. We'll be right back.
Yeah, whatever.
Welcome back to the American Car Classics radio show and podcast. And today we have John Kraman on the phone with us. And we're hoping he'll tell us a little bit about the 2023 Mecum Summer Special for Kissimmee.
Yeah, how'd it go, John? What are the numbers that came in for you for Mecum out of July in Orlando or in Kissimmee, I guess?
Really great time there. You know, I want to mention that we do Kissimmee, Florida twice now. We do it, of course, January, the world's largest. And then we're also doing one now we call it the Kissimmee Summer Special. And it looks like that's going to be a permanent part of our Mecum schedule.
Love to hear that.
885 cars sold over the 4-day event, about $31 million. And once again, I'm going to sound like a broken record, every vehicle in the top 10 American Performance. Number 1, a 2005 Ford GT at over $455,000, and even at the number 10 place was impressive. A 2021 Ford Shelby Super Snake Speedster, that was lot number S217, and that was number 10, and that fetched $187,000. Ton of activity, even though it's warm. We know it's warm in Kissimmee, which is the Orlando area, in July. doesn't seem to make much of a difference. That midsummer auction, primarily feeding that local or that regional market as opposed to a much larger national audience. But it's a great auction. The timing is right, and the folks at Osceola Heritage Park consistently roll out the red carpet for us. They're such a pleasure to deal with. It kind of feels like a home away from home, the fact that we're there twice a year now.
I love to hear that it's going to be a permanent event, John. It is. It's easy to roll out the red carpet for the largest show on earth, and you guys truly bring it. The July show doesn't have the driving experience with Dodge, but it still has so much of the other stuff that Fanfare just wants to see and do and bring in. Be a part of that, as you said, high energy that Mecum brings. They're opening to close. It is nonstop business, but it's fun business to be either involved in or just a spectator. So I can't be surprised that they roll it out like they do for you all.
Right. It's funny that you mentioned that because, as cool as it is to talk about the great cars and the results and the big prices, it is serious business. It's a big responsibility. It is commerce. It's a really big responsibility to our consigners, our sellers. It's just as big of a responsibility as on the other end to our buyers, and to consistently bring everybody together time and time again all over the country. We either have one or two auctions per month. They're huge crews. It takes anywhere between 200 and 300 people on the road to put these auctions together. That's combining with our office staff in Walworth, Wisconsin, about 150 people, always working auctions into the future. So not everybody who works at Mecum in the office goes on the road. We've really got two separate teams, and man, it's everybody working together. And it's also guys like you, the enthusiasm from all the car folks out there that just really understand what we do. It's a passion-driven team. We do it because we love it. And 36 years now, grown to be the world's largest car auction company. We seem to be doing something right, but we're always looking ahead to refine and tweak and fine-tune the experience for everyone.
John, I am going to be 57 next month. Andrew is a young guy at 38.
Yep, 36.
30. Oh, you're going to be 37.
Yeah.
Okay, I was putting him older. But John, when we were coming out of the smog era in the late 70s and into the 80s, where we had a Corvette with 220 horsepower and this stuff, did you ever say the big three manufacturers are going to build 1,000 horsepower street cars and sell them to general public people? Did you ever see this coming?
No, and no. And I was there, being born in 1956, kind of in the driver's seat of the whole evolution of the muscle car, movement beginning in the 60s, really winding down by the early 70s for so many reasons. And then I graduated high school in 1974. And so, I was there right in the thick of it and buying used performance cars from the 60s in the 70s and the early 80s for pocket change. $1,000 to $1,500 would buy a pretty nice one in that time period. We never thought there would be any future cars would have the kind of level of performance that we saw in the 1960s. Of course, we were wrong because I think the horsepower crossover point was in the 400 to 500 horsepower range. I remember in 2007 when the Ford Shelby Mustang GT500 was reintroduced. It was dormant since 1970, and Carroll Shelby makes an announcement, folks, we got 500 horsepower. You better buy one now because this is going to be a short-lived program. Even old Shell himself, I don't think, anticipated that it would last as long as it did. Now, it is winding down to a close. Traditional ICE high performance is winding down. We know that.
Yeah.
What we don't know is what exactly is the future going to bring? Is it going to be all electric, or will it be the new buzzword, electrification? And that's hybrid along with ICE, conventional internal combustion engines. It's going to be interesting to watch and see, but man, what a legacy we have from really all the manufacturers that have built reliable, great, good-looking, retro-themed, but thoroughly modern all the way, that for a lifetime or two from today, even if they quit building them all today, there's still going to be thousands and thousands of cars to deal with as we move into the future. It's muscle car 2.0. It's here.
It is 2.0. It is very bewildering for me, I guess would be my word, because I'm so fearful of what things are being pushed on or asked of to do, and can grid capacity hold on, and guys that are in California, they're saying that you can't have a gas car after this, and what are we doing with these cars, and is the government one day going to say, hey, listen, we don't want that car on the roads? And I'm reluctant to think that the future is great, or going to be great initially for a lot of stuff. And I think that the car guys, the people of the world, are going to have to fight for their rights to keep these things on the road and being able to keep them registered in the States and driving like they do, you know?
No doubt about it. We've got challenges ahead, but I think that I'm just going to make a bit of a prediction. It's huge conversation in the car world now, and that's exactly what is the future of gasoline-powered cars. I have to think that the government and the manufacturers are going to have to start putting the brakes and slowing down this replacing the gas engines with electric. I think that gas vehicles and electric vehicles can coexist well.
Yes, sir.
I think adding hybrid, we're already seeing it now. The E-Ray Corvette's a good example of getting extra performance. Fastest 0 to 60 Corvette in history.
Yeah.
With a combination of a conventional gas engine with hybrid power, not for additional fuel economy or anything like that at all. It's literally for performance. I think we're going to see that, guys. I'm just going to, make a prediction right now, and I think that we're going to hear and see announcements from various manufacturers that that's going to be the way to go. And as I say that, here we have Ford Motor Company just going crazy with a brand new S650 platform Mustang, all the way to 500 horsepower. And then the big announcement that was made this week, the GTD Mustang, $300,000.
Yeah.
800 horsepower.
800.
They want to build between 1,000 and 2,000 of them. And I'm going to predict that they'll be sold out by the time that they're officially announced, and they're going to be bringing over MSRP across the board. Unbelievable.
Yes, sir.
John, I've heard a lot about that. How did you say it? The GTD Mustang?
Yeah.
Is it actually mid-engine? Because there was a lot of rumors coming around that it was going to be mid-engine to compete with the Corvette, or closer to the Corvette. But I don't know if that's been confirmed yet.
Yeah, well, here's what we know. Here's what we know about the GTD. It will have a rear transaxle, but not a rear engine.
Okay.
So they have completely changed that platform. It shares very little with the production Mustang, other than the name and the overall basic shape. It's an 8-speed dual-clutch rear transaxle engine in the front, looking for a 50-50 weight balance, different than the C8 Corvette, which, of course, is mid-engine, which actually has more weight bias, over 60% towards the rear, which is one way why they get such impressive 0 to 60 results, because that car, I own one, that car just plants and goes due to, superior traction right out of the hole. It's pretty cool.
So we are about 4.5 months away from what Kenny likes to call the Super Bowl of auto auctions, Mecum and Kissimmee, Osceola Heritage Park, January 2024. It's the 2nd and 14th. What are you looking forward to most for that?
2nd through the 14th. Yeah, this is what, 12 days, John, 2 weeks.
Yeah, it's crazy. Isn't that going to be a monster? That's going to be so much fun. Man, so much going on. Already huge buzz for Mecum Kissimmee. We've made an announcement just within the past couple days of what we're calling our main attraction. One of the main attractions, we'll have many. It's a 1967 Chevrolet Corvette L88. Only 20 L88s were made in that debut year. 10 coupes, 10 convertibles. This happens to be a coupe. It's red with a red interior. It's a very well-known car. No questions about the authenticity of it or anything like that. And we are expecting close to $4 million for that one single Corvette. And then on top of that, collections. That's going to be another big theme, as we've seen the past 5 or 6 years, especially at Kissimmee, with some of the finest collections, multiple car collections from, and not, we talk a lot about U.S. cars. We talk a lot about the import cars as well. It's going to be a nice mix and blend with well over 4,000, and I'm going to say 4,500 to 5,000 entries. I think Mecum is going to once again reset the bar at Kissimmee 2024. I don't think there's any doubt about that.
I'm not either. I'm smiling ear to ear. This is and Andrew, when he gets to go, because July was so fun for us, but it really is. It's breathtaking, John. It is the whole. You almost want to just bring a sleeping bag, an air mattress, or something and camp out, because it is just a spectacle. It's a damn show, and it's just so fun. And the eye candy. I mean, what do you want? A Volkswagen? You want a minibus? You want it on the ground slammed? You want a 4x4? A new Bronco with an 8-inch lift? I mean, you can have it. It's everything you'd ever want to see, from 1912 to the GTDs. I mean, it is incredible what January turns into in Kissimmee when Mecum rolls into town, and what a show, tent after tent, and the employees, and you've got Mecum has a lot of employees that live in Kissimmee in the Orlando area that come in and they volunteer and do. I want to mention these guys. They are out there and they come by force for you all, and they are proud to help out and make that show the best in the world. So.
Well, definitely worthy of a shout out, literally, to the entire Mecum crew. That is a marathon. We will have many Mecum workers will travel on. Well, they'll travel on December 26th, the day after Christmas. The auction will start the 2nd, which I believe is a Tuesday.
Okay.
Pretty sure that's a Tuesday. So Monday will be New Year's Day. Well, if we're going to start the auction on the 2nd, that means that we're going to have to be set up, ready to go, check-in all in place. We don't show up on the day of the auction. We will be there getting set up all through the end of December. Many of our crew are there down in Kissimmee for a full month. And I think we did 237 million in the sale of collector vehicles last year. Typical Mecum tradition, always looking to raise the bar, make it bigger, and do better for 2024. So, and I just, final thought on that, the state of the collector car world is still really strong. There's so much passion, so much interest with a new demographic, a slightly younger buyer. There is a transition to a slightly younger buyer. And when I say younger buyer, I'm talking maybe 45, 50 years old as a young buyer in our world. And it's really gratifying to see that there is a little bit of a changing of the guard. And these new enthusiasts are picking up where the old grizzled baby boomers are, kind of heading out to pasture. And that's good for our business model.
Yeah.
I would guess it's from people that are potentially trying to pick up gifts of what their parents talked about when they were young. Like, for example, my dad had a 442. Old 69, I believe. And I've heard so many stories about this vehicle. And it's like, it'd be wonderful if I could pick one up for him one day. But boy, they just keep moving a little bit more further away with the price tags. But I'm curious, like, I would love to own one for myself. So after hearing so many stories of the glory days of this car for him, I could see where I'd want to pick one up if I could ever find one for the right price and then experience it for myself. So I wonder if that's what's happening with a lot of the younger buyers, as you call them.
You hit it right on the head, Andrew. Here's what's happening. The former large part of the market, the baby boomer market, which still represents a big part, of course, and I'm right in the middle of it. We're nostalgia buyers. We remember the era. We were there. We may not have owned these cars when they were new, but we certainly were reading about them, building model cars, racing slot cars, reading the car magazines. And then by the time that we were ready to buy, they were no longer in production, but they were available as used cars. And we took that ball and kind of kept it rolling. The new wave of enthusiasts now will put you right smack dab in the middle of this, is what we refer to as the legacy buyer. The folks that have relied on, obviously styling and image and everything else goes a long way with cars, especially from the 1960s. But it's also the stories that our aunts and uncles and the photographs and everything that we hear about. We want to kind of relive that era, or not even relive it. We want to live it a lot of times for the very first time. It's a big part of the market, which is also what's driving folks, a slightly younger demographic, to seek out vehicles that have that vintage look, but yet have been upgraded with modern components. A huge part of our business, the Restomod, Pro Touring, call it whatever you want. That is a viable market. That's here to stay, and we're seeing growth across the board on that end of things as well.
Without a doubt. Without a doubt. Well, John, listen, I want you to make sure that your bosses, like I said, know about that. You've got to have a date out at Chattanooga next year. When you get into town this year, Andrew and I want to see if Matt Avery is going to be available. We'd like to take you out to dinner one night and hang out and talk a little bit more informal if you're up to it. As always, we love and appreciate you having time for us to come on our show and fill us full of this information that we need to have and love and do and everything else with Mecum Auto Auctions. So, you've got 2 shows coming up in September. Is that right?
Yep, we've got the National Motorcycle Museum auction. That's September 6th through the 9th, Anamosa, Iowa. Any of your viewers, listeners, are big motorcycle fans, one of the best motorcycle museums on the planet. It will be open right up until September 6th. And then a week or so after that, or week and a half after that, off to Dallas we go, September 20th through the 23rd.
Another big event
at the
there.
Bailey Hutchinson Convention Center. Plenty of television coverage coming your way on both Motor Trend TV, your cable channel, or the streaming service, Motor Trend Plus.
Yeah, and that is a great service as well. Love that Mecum has gotten on board with the streaming service, because when we're here at work, it certainly makes it fun and easy for us to tune in the whole day. So, all right, Andrew, anything else for John?
Nope, just appreciate you taking the time to speak with us today.
Absolutely.
I do hope we can hang out in the future. That'd be great.
Andrew Smitten, John. I love it. I appreciate it. You have a great rest of summer, and we'll see you in the fall or in the winter, I guess. All right, John.
Sounds good, guys.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
John Kraman, the voice of Mecum Auto Auctions. I'm Kenny. This is Andrew. We're the American Car Classics Radio program. We're going to take a break, and we'll be right back.
Coming at you, a wing to desire. You better pin up on a chain of me now. I'm out of the tail now, baby. And nothing you can do. I'm coming to get you. Alright. If you're feeling sad, you're feeling blue, don't you dare take it out on me. If you're sitting around, you got nothing to do, shake a leg, come along with me. You take 1 step, you take 2 steps, you take 3, and get on up.
I love that. Greg Billings, The Stranger Band. That's late 80s, early 90s right there. I'm Kenny. This is Andrew. This is the American Car Classics radio program. I want to give a big shout out again to John Kraman for coming on and always making us feel like friends and filling our heads full of information on cars. It's always good talk, Andrew.
Yeah, it was wonderful.
Yeah. You're smitten.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like starstruck a little bit every time we get to talk to him.
Well, I love that we were sitting out there and David Morton, who's the director of marketing for Mecum Auctions. I mean, what a job. I mean, this guy, director of marketing for the largest auto auction in the world.
Just chatting.
And he just comes up and signs us and says, "Hey, guys." And we had to shout. They were doing some opening stuff, and it was kind of a loud thing going on. But it was great conversation with him. Mm-hmm. He's as much in tune with everything that's going on and the cars they're selling and all that too. I've never asked David if he's a car guy. I mean, what does he have? What's his collection? I know John's got 2 Corvettes and a couple other cars, but I've never asked David Morton that. So I think that's on the bucket list for me to do next year.
Yeah.
So
2 weekends ago, we got to go to the Slot Car Raceway and Hobby Shop in Vero Beach. They had the grand opening, and they also had a classic car show. I say classic. I mean, there was new Corvettes, there was old hot rods, all sorts of stuff. We got a bit of a video clip we're hoping to play for you.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. It was really, really hot. Everything was on asphalt. There were a few trees, but there were some great cars. This is a 50 Ford sled that was super beautiful.
Oh, it was just, the paintwork was amazing on this car.
We have a customer named Bruce Campbell who came out, and he did not bring his because this is in the garage from a roof being done, but he saw that right away. Hey, there's Lucy Always love that girl, my 70 Nova. This is Joe and Brittany Milstead, and this is the fourth largest slot car raceway in the world, and we're pretty proud to be able to know that it's here in Vero, and they did well, and I think the crowds treated them well as well. But it's always a fun time out there. This is on Vero Beach, right on Highway 60, just off of I-95. You brought the kids out?
I brought the kids and the wife.
And the wife?
You will see my youngest son, Garrett, walking around with his hands behind his back because I told him that's what you do when you go to a car show. And then my oldest, Rory, almost falling into cars. So, yeah, he's getting to that age. So we got to see all sorts of fun stuff. Everything showed up here. Inside here, they have different tracks for basically different skill levels. And it seems like there's a quarter-mile replica speed track in the background.
Yeah.
You blink and they're gone.
What skill level are we?
Novice.
Novice at best.
Yeah, we're about to see that in a couple of seconds because...
In fact, Rory beat us.
Oh, yeah.
Hands down.
Almost every single time.
Yeah.
Here he is. He didn't know that the cars could come off the track, so I had to tell him to back up.
Yeah.
So these things, yeah. So they started us out, and you can pay for 20 minutes or a half hour. So they started us out on this little track. What's the scale for that?
That's 1/64th, I think, or 1/32nd.
And I think you said that there were little magnets in these to help them stay on the track.
Yeah, these are magnets, but still the electric motors are so powerful. I mean, it's powerful and it's fun. If you do it right, you can truly keep your tail end sideways like you're drifting around this thing. And we saw some kids out there that were doing a great job driving these things. Brings them in off the streets out of the summer. One guy there, he had several different cars for different tracks, and his mom would sit in the middle of all of them, and she would help reroute his car when he forgot to let up in turn 3 or something.
Actually, she was so nice. She was resetting my car, my kid's car, your car one time. This carnage. So if it seems like they're perfectly happy letting people help out. If you see something go off the track, everything's color-coded, you can just pop it back on.
Yeah. No, this was a lot of fun. A lot of people came in, not just out of the heat, but they were enjoying the tracks and not even just having to participate, which of course is what keeps Joe and Brittany in business, but to watch this. And there is plenty of spectator space. And it is 4-lap, 8-lap racing, 8-wide racing. And you think that you're hooked up on the outside, and then all of a sudden, no, you're not going to get it because you got to go back to the inside. And all of a sudden, if you didn't let up your cars off the track, and I mean, everybody of all ages, this was it was a lot of fun. Now, out there at the hobby shop, it is a hobby shop as well. They sell all these cars, and what I learned from Joe and Brittany was that they are 3D printing bodies, that if you've got a car and you want a slot car to be like your car, like I do with Lucy, my 70 Nova, I can go and ask them to make one, put one together, whatever scale I'd like, and then paint it the same patina here at Dolphin Auto in the shop. I get Roy to do that, and I'd have my own little car.
Yeah, that'd be so cool. See how it competes against the others.
I'm still going to suck because it
doesn't have all the aero they basically look like shovels driving around.
Yeah. Yeah, no, they do, but it was so much fun, and I was glad to see you bring the family out, and it was a good turnout. I don't know how many cars are there. I don't think I got a count in, but I'd bet there was 70 or 80 anyway.
Yeah, I'd say right.
Guy brought a nice dragster out there, as you saw up front. They had a DJ. They had play to offer and some good awards for those who won. I did take off before awards were given out because it was hot, and so did you. Had plenty of stuff to do.
Yep.
But we'd like to thank Joe and Brittany Milstead for inviting us out to do that with them, and it was a lot of fun and worth it. And so if you get an opportunity and you're in the area, go out and check that out. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah. Also, so Bear Jackson at Las Vegas in 2022, a 1966 Chevy C10 Resto Mod set a new highest Resto Mod price at auction, $250,000.
Woo! For a Resto Mod for a Chevy C10.
Yeah.
You owned one.
Yep.
And did you sell it
through a friend?
$250,000?
No, it did not.
Oh, okay.
And it was actually really nice. It had modern conveniences, air conditioning, things like that, modern LED headlights, and I don't think the 66 is the most desirable body. We talked about this a little bit off air.
No.
You love it.
I love it because I was born in '66, and I think it's a great looking truck, man. The one that the video of this truck that I saw, and it was done. I don't even know how many hours on the body or whatever and everything. It was just so well. It was a 5-course meal stuffed together as one, but it was beautiful. The paint combination was absolutely perfect. How you get that perfect of a choice? I mean, like champagne rust or something almost. It was just beautiful. Maybe they got lucky. Maybe they had a little bitter war going on, but the truck was beautiful.
Yeah. I think that's what generation we're copying right now.
Yeah.
I think all the 2024 Silverados are basically going after that squinted headlight design. So, except now they're 4-cylinder turbocharged and everything's different. It still makes 400 foot-pounds of torque.
Yeah. What do you think about what John said as far as where we're going to go in the world and everything, Andrew? What do you what are you turned on and off about for the future with cars? What do you see?
So I have this conversation a lot with some of the people I work with, and a lot of them are, I don't want to say stuck in the past, but they're like, this was the best. It's never going to be any better than that, and so on. And it's like, if you are a hot rodder, you're all about newest, best technology that can make you go the fastest, usually on an affordable budget, right? But I don't see why a car that can do a 0 to 60 in 1.6 seconds should get hate because it's a classic car with an electric drivetrain. That doesn't mean that I believe everything should be EV swapped. I don't care for it as much as anyone else, but I can certainly respect it. So I don't know why people hate on the LS, say, when it's replacing a small block Chevy. It's like, look, it's better in every single way. It gets better fuel economy, better emissions, better power, better ingredients, Papa John's. It's everything. But they don't like it because it's not what they had when they were growing up. And it's like, if you're a hot rodder, it shouldn't really matter. I mean, you're always allowed to have your own choice. I'm rambling at this point, but...
No, Bryce, if I ever owned one, I would have to get a set of boat speakers and put them sticking out the side of the car, and I'd have to play Hot for Teacher, the startup of Hot for Teacher, the dragster, the drums playing out of the back or something, just so I can hear a car.
Yeah, but it'll never be the same as an actual
You won't feel it.
Fiery hot V8.
Yeah.
I think what John said was interesting, which is, if you look at what Formula One has been doing, they've got their sideshow. They've got their sideshow EV series, which nobody watches, nobody cares about, and these batteries on these cars can only last like half a race.
I knew. And I watched it, Bryce. I did watch it a couple of Saturdays ago, and I just laugh because as they go through the corner,
yeah, and it doesn't make any sound. But if you look at the main event in F1, it's what John was talking about, which is the power unit has an electrified component which increases the torque. And it's really interesting the way those guys use those during the races, because part of the time they have to be building the power up. Other times they expend the power out of the electrified portion of the power unit to get increased acceleration. If they're trying to go for a really hot lap or an overtake, they can do that. So
yeah, they can open up their fuel and take in a lot more fuel and basically add CFM to their intake, as where like the drivers in F1 are much more involved than any other sport racing. NASCAR, they're just not touching any control.
Oh yeah. In F1 they're changing the brake bias. They've got different engine programs because they have a limited number of engines, and so if they just go full bore, they're going to burn through their engine allotment halfway through the season.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's but I think he's right. I don't think you're going to see the demise of internal combustion anytime soon.
I don't think we can. We know that the grids aren't made to make it.
Right.
And everything
California's
else,
already complaining about it. They can't keep up with it, and now they're telling people they might have to drive on odd days, just like in the gas crisis.
Yeah.
It's not going to happen.
No. All right. Well, I don't know what we got for time left, Bryce. Where are we going? How do we look?
Whatever you guys got left, we can roll this one out.
Yeah, let's go ahead and roll this out. I'm going to mention, no, I'm not going to do that. I don't have glasses on. We're good. So I'll talk about Daytona real fast. Daytona International Speedway is going to be welcoming the NASCAR racing coming up here this Saturday. The show will probably get out on the air as the race is going to start. I'm going to take my mom this Saturday night out to Daytona. First time ever. She's 91 years old. This is the Coke Zero Sugar-Free 400.
Sugar-free?
Yeah. I think that's what they're calling it. The Coke Zero Sugar 400.
Huh.
Zero sugar. So Coke Zero Sugar 400. This is the last race for NASCAR before the chase begins. So this is the last opportunity for anybody like Chase Elliott or anything to get into the championship points playoff if you're not already in it. So I know being Daytona, being under the lights at night, they're going to bring it, and they're going to all not care about who they hit, trying to get to the lead. So it should be a lot of fun. So that's August 26th. That's about all I had for anything. Bryce, what do you got for the good folks? Anything else?
I'm looking forward to F1 coming back this weekend.
Yeah.
The Grand Prix of Netherlands. And that's a cool track. Ever since a few years ago, they added some banked turns to it.
They took a summer break, like 2 weeks off, 3 weeks off?
Yeah, they generally don't drive in, they don't race in August. So they're taking their regular schedule.
Andrew, this weekend, you're going to get yourself a new puppy. You're driving.
New puppy.
Turn and burn to Alabama?
Yep, up there and back, about 21 hours of driving. And it's going to suck, but it's all done in one day.
Well, you're going to have fun. You're bringing back a new puppy for the family. And what is your dog's name that you have now?
I have a dog named Piper. She's a miniature English cream dachshund, and we are going to get her, hopefully her husband, as we keep saying it, with his name's Perry, and he is a blue miniature dachshund.
So it's an arranged marriage of sorts.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very fixed or unfixed.
Unfixed.
Yeah, okay. All right, everybody, we appreciate you tuning in. This is the American Car Classics radio program. Listen, like it, share it, make a comment. 772-584-1048. That's our hotline. Shoot us a text. Tell us what you think. We appreciate you so much. Andrew, love you, brother.
Yep. Thanks for having me on.
Take care.